Lumen Brothers. Light Talk. Light Talk. Light Talk. Lumen Brothers. Light Talk.
Hey, this is Steve in Las Vegas. It's Saturday morning, my friend, and you are listening to Light Talk.
I'm calling the police.
Good morning, this is Brackley, and I actually live in Las Vegas, and you are tuned into Light Talk.
And good morning. This is David coming to you from beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada. And if you don't already know, you are listening to Light Talk, and we are the Lumen Brothers and Sistah. Yes. Woo! Welcome, everyone. We have, well, first of all, to our listeners out there, we have this wonderful audience of people, about 40 people here today, well, maybe 30, I don't know. But if you haven't already, we've fill out some questions. We do have some questions in the bucket already. But welcome, everyone, to episode 242. It's good to be back here in Sin City, and we'd like to thank Ellen for inviting us. I believe this is, our fourth year here?
Fourth year.
This is our fourth year.
Fifth season, fourth year.
Fifth season, fourth year. It's nuts, absolutely nuts. Many of our friends are here today with us, and we're gonna have a fun 40 minutes or so of semi-serious shenanigans. What you heard at the top of the show is our brand new remix of the Light Talk theme song. That song, it not only features the Lumen Brothers and Sistahs, it now features a new piano track that our dear friend Drew Belinsky, right down here, recorded for us. And also includes the voice of Light Talk, Lori Cooper on vocals there. Lori Cooper is our voice of Light Talk. She is a professional voiceover artist, and she's helped us on a lot of things, actually. And she's gonna help us today again on a, Bobby Danger episode.
A Bobby Danger, yes.
Absolutely, Bobby
Episode
Danger.
4.
Yeah, if you haven't heard episodes 1, 2, or 3, you should listen to them. They're on someplace on the podcast, right? Right. Anyway, Lori was back at the swag table. We have shot glasses back there. Hopefully you all put out your questions. And now she's here. So let's give them both a hand. Drew and Lori on Now Light Talk. Great.
So I guess as we look back, a lot has happened to our industry over the last 2 years since COVID has started. Every week we've tried to have a guest or at least once a month on the show to talk about their interaction in the industry. We have new co-hosts coming in to join us. Again, our dear friend Ellen, we're very appreciative for the support that she and LDI have given us over the years. She is our honorary Lumen sister and contributor now. And of course, Zach Bovary, many of you know, projection artist, and Driscoll Otto is with us now as Lumen Brothers. You may be asking the question, but what of Stan? What has happened to Stan?
Where is Stan?
Well, in his dotage, Stan is now thinking about politics, so we only see him once a month right now, but he is here in spirit. He sent a message to us a few minutes ago to remind you of all the really exciting things happening at LDI, and he sent us a full list of that. So, clearly he's been at the wine again, but he is here in spirit.
But as we are celebrating Thanksgiving next week, we would like to take this opportunity to list a few Thanksgiving thank yous. First, we would like to thank LDI for naming one of their lounges after us.
Yeah, we didn't even know that. Apparently there's a Light Talk lounge out there.
We would also like to thank the supply chain crisis for destroying our swag plans for this year's conference.
We'd also like to thank all our industry friends who made it out here to LDI. And for those who didn't, you have no idea what you are missing, because tonight there's a party at the Circle Bar right after this show. So we hope to see you all there.
I guess we need to thank those listeners around the world. We're close to 250,000 downloads now. We're reaching about 20,000 people a month now. Including our 2 loyal fans from the Faroe Islands, and the other
They're
100.
still there. It's crazy.
You know, we kind of wondered about that when we first got it. We thought it was a joke, but no, I guess there are actually 2 people there who are in the lighting industry who tune in every week. We're also now in 130 countries around the world. So we started out with like 6 people listening, and it's kind of gotten a life of its own now. So I'm always amazed. Every time I get an email, my wife chuckles about it and goes, "Who's that? Who's that?"
Yeah, so anyway, speaking of swag, we have those free limited Light Talk shot glasses at the door. If you missed out, did not get one on your way in, stop by the stage after the show. We'll be happy to give you one until we run out. We also have, okay, now this is really important. Why don't you hold it up? Yes, thank you. Very, very nice. We also have 8 not ready for dishwasher Light Talk coffee mugs sitting here on the table to be awarded to the audience members who are fortunate enough to have their questions picked randomly out of the ice bucket that we stole from the Westgate Hotel. Make sure your name is on the cards, and then we're going to just read them, and we'll have that ice bucket placed right here on the table. If you come up late, and just drop your index card in it if you haven't had a chance to do it. We don't care if people walk up and down. It doesn't matter.
So if your question is chosen, then you'll come up here and choose one of these coffee mugs. One of the mugs has a secret code on it. And at the end of the show, we will announce what that code is. And if your mug has that code, then you will win a free appearance on Light Talk, and you will be a Lumen Brother or Sister for a weekend. And I mean,
Or day.
After that, you know, what else can you do on your resume?
That's right. So with that, let's get started. You know, Steve is going to pick the first question. Here you go, Steve. Go for it.
I don't feel any $20 bills. No. All right, here's a question.
Yeah, hey, wait a second. Where's the $20 bills that are wrapped around these? They're not here. Okay.
Okay, so I have to take a second to work through the blurry writing.
Who wrote it?
This is Ms. Garcia, Jasmine Garcia.
Jasmine Garcia.
Hasmeen, I'm sorry,
right.
Hasmeen Garcia. All right, and the question is, what advice do you have for designers who start losing motivation for their work?
Find another job?
So I guess, this is open for anybody. This is open for anybody.
Oh, okay. I just said it. You got to find another job,
well,
right?
Yeah, I mean, I think if you start losing motivation for your work, you need to reassess
Where you are.
Well, what got you interested in the first place? Why did you choose this path? And, you know, just because you started as a lighting designer doesn't mean you have to work as a lighting designer for the next 30 or 40 or 50 years. What else is sparking the kind of juice in you? Do you want to be a writer? Do you want to be a producer? Do you want to be an architect? You know, I bring this up because, oddly enough, I was having this conversation with my dean a couple days ago, and his question was a little, I think, along these lines. He said, how do we explain our undergraduate acting program, which has about 125 students in it, how do we explain that all those students don't have, you know, kind of solid acting careers once they leave SMU? Or how do we explain some of these students leave the profession completely? And I thought maybe we should turn the question around. It's not about if you're going to be an actor your entire life. It's going to be what you want to be. You know, and all of a sudden, you know, he was discounting, at least staying in our profession, he was discounting the number of actors who've gone off and started their own theater companies. You know, he's discounted some of these people. We actually have a student who is part of the RuPaul ensemble. And he was discussing with our students, he said, I never thought I would do this for a living. I never thought this is where my career would take me. But he said something interesting in this is my career is now taking me into content creation. And all of a sudden, I'd never thought about that. So, you know, one door closes maybe and another door opens. So I don't think there's anything wrong with losing your motivation. It's something is pulling you in a different direction.
And I think this past year and a half, I think a lot of the workers and the designers in the industry have lost their motivation for a number of reasons, and some have reassessed where they want to go. and they have come up with new and exciting jobs for themselves. So yes, it's something that if you're trying to get the motivation back, I think is important if that's where you want to go. But we try to offer as many different elements in the lighting design world that you can work at. So you may not like a theater, but you might like event lighting or something like that. So there's more options there now than there actually used to be.
Or go on a vacation, take a break. This horrible pandemic that we just are living through, and last year was terrible when everyone lost their jobs, it gave people an opportunity to actually reassess where they were going in their careers. Some of them left the industry, but a lot of them re-energized and brought back into really what they were doing and new directions they wanted to take. I know I have a lot of friends who are directors who, we were in the middle of projects, and then all of a sudden, obviously the projects were canceled, or in many cases they were postponed, and say, hey, let's do something different now, okay? I mean, this world is living through this once in a generation, actually more than a generation, once in a century problem, and let's reassess it and maybe do something different with our shows. The whole thing with Black Lives Matter, I mean, was huge, and that's brought a lot of new directions to the type of theater we do. So all that's pretty important. But yeah, I think it's staying motivated is kind of difficult in this industry, especially with all the competition, and especially when horrible things like the pandemic happens and when you lose, your income. We're fortunate, like the three of us are teachers, we have other income, but a lot of our friends, they are hurting. So it's a tough time, it really is. Anyway, let's move on to our next question. And Brackley, you're gonna be able to pick this one up. There you go. Oh, wait a second, you need to come up here and pick out a mug. So pick out a mug, and don't leave until the end of the show, because we will then tell you what that code is. And we'll see if that code, any mug, just pick a mug, there you go.
Well, pick the winning rug.
Yeah, pick the winning one. You could look at the bottom, it's not on the bottom.
Where is it?
It's a secret code. It's a secret code, that's all we're saying now, okay?
And don't put it in the dishwasher.
Do not put that in the dishwasher.
Because you'll wash off the secret code.
Well, we discovered that that it's kind of poisonous, that paint that they used on it. So if it flakes off, you have a chance of death. Okay. Oh, yes.
So the next question, it comes from, I hope I pronounce this correctly, Jason Lawshy.
Hey, Jason.
From St. Louis.
Hey, Jason, come up here and pick up a mug. Get a mug.
Get a mug.
Else we'll forget. Right.
So his question is, as a new professor, what advice do you have?
Are you a new professor? Oh, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay, I have the best advice for you. The best advice. Never become chair. Never
I agree.
become an administrator. Stay a teacher.
I second that.
Yeah, exactly. I was asked to become a chair like 3 or 4 times in my career. And I was like, are you kidding me? I love teaching. I said, let's look at our desks. I said, your desk has like 5 piles of paper on it. I bet that pile's from administration. This pile's from faculty who's complaining. This file's from students who are complaining. And this file's from staff that's complaining, right? He goes, yeah, it's sort of like
you
that.
Don't have to
and
stand there.
I said,
Yeah,
no, this is cool, man. We're connecting. We're connecting, dude. So anyway, so I said, look at my desk. I have 1 pile of paper, and it's all from papers, and they're all from students. And I'd much rather sit at my desk. The extra money's not worth it.
Yeah, I was chaired. I said, I'll do it for 2 years. Well, 2 turned into 8 during the last recession. And no, it's a lot of work. I was able to teach at the same time, but it is a lot of work. The advice, listen to your students. Really listen to the students, and feel what they need, And what school are you at? St. Louis?
Yeah, Webster University.
Oh, yeah, good school.
Ramey's there.
Wow.
She was here. Say hi to Ramey.
Oh, man.
But yeah, so just listen to the students and really, and as much as you can, have them networking, I think, is a huge, huge, huge deal. And that's why the people that were at the portfolio review, you've networked with 9 or 11 designers. So keep up with them, email them. They're all, this young man next to me was one of them. So email them and have a continued contact with them. So networking is big too. And have fun.
Yeah, man, have fun.
Well, I would take this students in a different way. And what I would say is that first day in class and those first texts and everything you're doing is to kind of be amazed at what they're producing. And sometimes you'll think, oh, this is the worst thing ever. And it may be the worst thing ever. But for them, that's the most exciting thing they've ever done in their lives. And what I remember about being a new teacher was how much I learned from them rather than telling them what to do. There's time for that, to be a good mentor, but also there's a time just to enjoy it. Enjoy the kind of excitement they bring to the classroom and excitement they bring to the theater. And it's just, you just see some of the best things ever. So,
and keep learning. I mean, I'm still learning. We're all still learning. Keep learning and growing. I mean, that's the big thing. And open up to all the students out there. They're so wonderful people.
And it's cool because, education's changing. It's evolving. And I wouldn't call Zoom evolving. I mean, I'm telling you that right now.
I didn't know what Zoom was a year ago.
Zoom's a disaster. But because I really need to be in the same room with the students. I know you feel that way as well. But, come up with new ideas. Don't be afraid to throw them out and try them. And don't worry about tenure. Don't worry about any of that stuff. Just do your job, and they're going to love you.
Yeah, well, if they want you, they'll keep you.
That's right.
Do your job.
Exactly. Cool, man.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Let's give them a hand. Oh, it's my turn. Look at this. I get to reach in. I think I feel a bill. Oh, no, I don't. Ebony. Who is Ebony? Ebony, come on up here. Grab a mug. All right. LA based. Well, so am I. And Lori. Lori and I are both from LA. Yeah. Okay. What inspires you? How do you refill your artistic cup?
I didn't realize there were going to be actual.
I must tell you, this is. I hope you got the win. I hope you got the winning one.
But not in the dishwasher.
And I don't
Never in the dishwasher.
I don't want to see that damn thing on eBay tonight.
Or we get 10%, right?
What of what she makes off of eBay for the cup?
For the cup, yeah.
Oh God, nobody's going to buy that. I mean, the problem is that we have a ship right outside my house. I see it. It's like It's docked right next to one of the Carnival cruise lines, and that's where our swag is. So we had this really great thing today. But hey, what are you going to do? We got the mugs. Everybody likes the mugs. Everybody likes the shot glasses. Big hit. Inspires. Okay, what inspires me? Well. The people I work with inspire me. I mean, we all do theater and live entertainment because we are collaborators. And we learn how to inspire each other when we're working on a project. That is really, really exciting to me. And other artists inspire me. I mean, I watched that David Byrne about American Utopia. It was awesome. And I was greatly inspired by that. So yeah, I mean, just every day. But I think the collaboration inspires me the most. What do you guys think?
Nature inspires me. I just love I live in a city where the sunsets and sunrises are absolutely outstanding against the mountains. So I just love seeing what nature brings, and kind of that inspires me to do lots of different things.
Wow. Okay.
I don't know. For me right now, I guess it's back to motivation again. But I've started working in film again. And I'm working with a cinematographer. We've done 3 shorts, and we're about to do a small independent. And what I'm finding is everything that I'm learning, so I'm bringing something to it from the theater, and I'm bringing something to it from that side of it. But the things I'm learning about cameras and lenses and ways to look at things, it's so different. Just seeing the world through that camera lens. So for me, it's doing something that I'm 65. And I'm starting something completely alien to me, and I'm loving every minute of it.
Wow,
Good.
That's cool.
That's great.
That's really cool. Let's do one more question, and then we'll go to our little teleplay.
Sure.
So it's your turn. There you go.
Okay, so good question.
No.
You're going to have to identify yourself because you didn't sign your card. So the question here goes about process. Should you write your light cues before tech and utilize previs to do this?
Yay.
Oh, come on up.
Come on up. Grab a mug. Yes, grab a mug.
The secret message.
The secret mug. Yeah, make sure you do not put it in the dishwasher.
That's our caveat. It'll blow up, right?
No. We've had some issues, and we don't want to go into them right now.
Okay, so I think there's two things here. I think so. We're going to go previs route rather than some other route with this. So here's the deal. In rock and roll, I get a 4-hour rehearsal at the arena with the artist. And the idea is that in that 4-hour rehearsal, we solidify 3 songs. And you think, how hard can that be? Because it's only about 10 minutes of performance, 15 minutes of performance. I'm looking at Josh Cutler, who was at Verilight with me for the masterclass in programming a few years ago. And it's really hard. So you have to do previs. 2 reasons. One is you want your client to be able to see, client and agent, what you're about to do before you get to the arena. And that heads off all kinds of problems. But also, it takes a while to really lock that cue in with the performance on stage. So previs, absolutely. We have a couple directors at my school who, if they can see previs, they don't have to see the whole show previs. But again, our friend Max Bowman, who works with Elaine McCarthy, he was doing the Othello play. And the director said, I want this light on the floor, and I want the light to be an uplight, and I want her to be grotesque. And Max said, what about the shadow on the wall? And the director, who was quite knowledgeable, went, oh, that won't be a problem. And Max thought, this will be a problem. So he prevised it, and the director said, I love everything about it. Oh, my God, what's that shadow on the wall? And so, and that was nice to be able to get that conversation out of the way and for them to find a solution before you get into tech and before an acting company's on stage and working. So I think previs is one of the best things that's happened in a long time to our industry, just to work through all the problems. And again, if you're doing things, for a long time, I was Paul Mitchell's go-to designer for his shows. And believe me, it's not hugs and kisses. It's a room with 17 art managers in there and advertising agents, and they don't want to hear it's going to look all right, or they want to see every moment of what that thing is going to be before it goes onto a stage. So previs, really important, really important.
Well, what about dance and theater?
I think it depends on, for me, I'm not a Broadway designer, but I can't imagine, maybe there's one in the room. I can't imagine not utilizing pre-visualization before you take a show into that kind of environment. You want to know what things are going to do. Before previs, my work in dance, we would take a show on the road. I was with Merce Cunningham and Owen Nicolai and Jose Limon, and we would take a show on the road, and we would spend those 10 or 15 weeks teching it before it actually opened at the Joyce Theater in New York. But again, previs, why would you not do it? Why would you not take advantage of what that software can do for you? If you can't use Vectorworks and you can't use Photoshop and you can't previs, you already are standing at the back of the line when someone's trying to hire you to do something. Also, I'm not, and I'll wrap it up, I may not be that creative at that moment in the theater when I have to be creative. Maybe I'm creative Wednesday afternoon, eating a slice of pizza, working through my previs in a hotel room, fixing something for next night's performance.
Okay, you're listening to Light Talk, and today we present episode 4 of The Lighting Guy. Quote, my grandma's dead.
Hang on to your C-wrench, true believers. It's time for Bobby Danger, The Lighting Guy, starring Bobby Danger, also known as The Lighting Guy, and his 2 assistants, Bucky and Becky. And now, episode 4, My Grandma's Dead.
It was Bobby's first trip to Las Vegas. Not only that, It was going to be his first produced show in Vegas. True, it was Crystal and her amazing poodle, and Circus Circus was not the hotel it had been when featured in the 1971 007 blockbuster, Diamonds Are Forever, but it was still a premiere in Las Vegas, and he was going to make the most of it. After all, the director was well known for his courage to take a risk, push boundaries, and create a show like no other.
Crystal and her amazing poodle would delight the audience with tricks and feats of magic that will combine to establish a metaphor for the story of Las Vegas. A wide-eyed view of the city's glittery surfaces with a peek of its slimy underbelly.
But things were not going well down at the Tech. Bucky and Becky were nowhere to be found. Bucky had stepped away to check a faulty DMX signal, and Becky had been concerned that he had been gone for so long and left to search for her friend. And where was stage manager Tracy? Something was terribly wrong. Time was short, and Bobby Danger had cues to write. Meanwhile, Becky walked down the long, dark hallway littered with broken circus props, faded memories of a hotel that no longer shined, down the long hallway to the dimmer room, and opened the door. On the floor, laying unconscious, was the body of Bucky.
Bucky? Bucky, can you hear me? Bucky!
Becky never felt the blow to the back of her head.
Take that, jerk.
Tracy was standing over her limp body with a thick, heavy call book in her trembling hands. She closed and locked the dimmer room door. A thin smile was on her ruby red lips. On the way back to the stage, she treated herself to a V8 from a vending machine. She knew better than to take the open drink into Tech, but today the rules could wait. Tracy was in charge. In the theater, the director stood up and shouted,
Hold, everybody stop. May I ask why we stopped writing lighting cues? The poodle's not going to light herself. Who is a good dog? You're a good dog. Everyone take 10 while lights catch up.
During the unscheduled break, Bobby Danger, our lighting designer, slipped into the casino bathroom. In the blink of an eye, Bobby Danger was out of his khakis and fancy silk tie. He was out of his sport coat, and he removed his Rolex. Then he slipped into a tuxedo, and on his wrist he wore a Patek Philippe. After all, it was Las Vegas, and this was his moment. Bobby Danger, mild-mannered university assistant professor, non-tenured, had become the lighting guy. Returning to the auditorium, Bobby Danger was surprised to see stage manager Tracy sitting at the console.
Lighting guy, I was meant to be your programmer. I can give you the show you want. I can give you the show you need.
Tracy, you're a great stage manager, but that's the only thing you can ever be to me. Tracy, step away from my grandma.
If I can't be your programmer, lighting guy, then no one will.
Her fingers jammed the buttons. She ran multiple cue lists. The encoders were spinning out of control, and her hands pounded the touch screens until, by sheer accident, she overturned and emptied her bottle of V8 onto the battered console. And then the stage went dark. Grandma was in trouble.
Lighting guy, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to. You have to believe me. Forgive me, lighting guy.
But it was too late. The damage was done, and Bobby Danger, the lighting guy, knew fear for the first time. By now, Bucky and Becky had been found by the cleaning crew and had slipped back into the theater. Becky, it's Grandma. I think she might be dead.
Lighting guy, I want to help, but I'm so dizzy. The room is spinning. My head hurts. Oh, can you still save the show, lighting guy? I know you can.
Where is Bucky?
I'm right here, lighting guy.
I need you to work your magic, old friend.
But lighting guy, your grandma is toast.
For Pete's sake, Bucky, I need you. A single tear rolled down the cheek of Bucky as he positioned himself behind the lifeless console.
It's just me and you, beautiful. We have to trust each other. Come back to me, Grandma. Come back.
Stage manager Tracy dimmed the work lights as Bucky switched the mighty console off and then on. He then entered the factory reset code and once more turned the desk off and then on. Bucky held his breath and waited. 14 hours later, with the help of tech support and Tracy's hairdryer, some patience, and no measure of good luck, Bucky was back in control and tech was once more underway. The entire company was on stage when the director said,
"That's some fantastic team you have there, lighting guy. Thank you once again for saving our show."
Bobby Danger put an arm around the shoulder of Bucky and Becky. He even motioned for stage manager Tracy to join them. "I don't need your thanks, good artist. Wherever there's a dark spot or an awkwardly staged moment or a timely blackout is needed, well, that's where you'll find the lighting guy."
Tune in next month for episode 5 of Bobby Danger, the lighting guy, the deadly fogger. All right.
And now, back to Light Talk.
Thank you, Laurie. Okay, we have some more questions here and some more mugs to give away, so it's your turn, Brackley.
So Drew from Salt Lake City.
He's always, and this is not fixed, he always gets called, but there you go.
So I'm a TD for a venue, and I'm in charge of safety codes. How do I handle a persistent LD who insists I cover up exit signs and turn them off?
Oh my God.
Because they need a true blackout.
Yeah. I guess tell them about the laws.
I've been in places where their creative actors have held little signs that are blackout, and right at the signal moment, they hold them up in front of the signs for a moment and then bring them back down. That's probably still illegal, but it works.
I just don't understand how a grown man or woman can't wrap their head around fire laws, safety, and do they want their grandma trapped in the theater when it burns down? I think that's that's a talk with the producer to say, we gotta rein this person in a little bit. It's just he or she is busting my chops over an exit sign. There are other things to fight with you about.
Yeah, have them deal with it, not you. I mean, the producer should be the one saying, no, can't do it, not you.
Yeah, really. You don't want to be the fall guy on that one. All right, next question. Oh, look at this. Okay, again, we don't have a name, but that's all right. How do you work in tandem with your inspiration and director's inspiration? Who's that? Oh, yeah, well, hey, what's your name? Jordan, come on up, grab a
Jordan
mug.
Hall.
Jordan, why do I get questions about inspiration?
Right next to each other.
I know. Well, no, everybody's inspired today. Tandem with your inspiration and the director's, that's a really good question.
Are you suggesting there's two different inspirations there that are in conflict?
I think inspiration's an interesting word because we're both inspired. It's like, and I say this on the podcast all the time, so please excuse me for our listeners. It's like being in a band when you're working with directors and other designers on a show. And, we're all inspired by different things. And I think what we do is we channel that inspiration into ideas. And then we share those ideas. And then we both jam on it, right? It's like a big jam session. So that's pretty much how it works for me. How about you guys?
For our listeners at home, Brackley is now nodding at the microphone. So he clearly is agreeing with David. I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think back at a point when this was problematic for me. I think if I'm kind of doing my work correctly and I'm listening to the needs of the director and how he or she envisions the show developing, a lot of things, and this isn't bad, a lot of things are being taken off the table as I have conversations with the director. So, something has gone away, and I'm able to keep focusing in on what he or she wants. And at some point, I kind of think we're both in the same ballpark working together. I've had good fortune to work with some of the same directors. As you get older, what happens is you find you build colleagues as you're aging, and you start working with the same people, same set designers, same costume designers, same directors a lot. Certainly in dance, I work with a lot of the same choreographers over the years. And we already have maybe a shared aesthetic about what we're trying to do, so it's not too terribly difficult. So I guess maybe it's something I've just grown into over the years, and I don't think about it much anymore. Also, And this is kind of cheating. There's a point where you will actually be able to turn projects down. Sometimes because you're already doing 2 and you just don't have time for the 3rd. But sometimes you're going to turn a project down because you're just not interested in it. And I think that's important too. I mean, if you can't give the work your best focus and you have to, when I'm doing something, I know it's naive. When I'm doing something, I think it is the best thing on the planet. That there is just nothing better, and I don't want to be anyplace else. If I come into a project where I'm questioning that, then I'm not the designer for that show, and I'm doing everybody in service, an injustice really, to take that project on. So you pick and choose who you want to work with.
I'm nodding my head again, but also it's directors are all different. You'll meet lots of different directors in your lifetime, and as Steve says, sometimes you just don't want to work with someone that if you can't be inspirational with each other. That's why articulating your ideas with the director when you start off, and as Steve says, you'll share a vocabulary after a while if you work with the same director over and over again. And I think that's so important, but being able to articulate what your ideas are and having the director also say, hey, that's good, but what if we do this? Because it's not necessarily your idea all the time, but you key off of one another, which I think is important.
It doesn't have to be some horrible thing that the reason you're not working with that director. I mean, there are no villains here. It's not that somebody's incompetent. I was talking to John Lee Beatty, set designer, some years ago, and he looked at me and he said, I would pay real money if someone would hire me to design cats. And if you know John Lee's work, his work over the year has been these realistic sets, living room sets. And he said, I just would like to do something besides a sofa. But at that time, he was so good at that. Those were all the offers he was getting, were these realistic interior sets. And so, how does he stop that? He started turning some of those projects down. And he also was so amazingly talented, he could do anything he wanted to do. But he had to make that first step of, no more sofa sets for me.
Great. Well, look, we have time for one more question. Is there a wolf here? Yeah. All right. When will the metaverse arrive? It's a ribbon. It's a ribbon.
It's a ribbon.
It is a ribbon.
It's a ribbon. What are you talking about? We've all in the metaverse. I mean, didn't like they changed the name of Facebook to Meta? And isn't that true? So there you go. We follow what happens on Facebook. We are on Facebook. So it's already a ribbon. Arrived. A ribbon.
Did that vaguely answer your question?
I would have been interested about automating the stage for that.
Oh, automating the stage.
Okay, we can take that journey with you.
I don't know. Automation. Take it. It's your question.
Well, I think it arrived. I mean, honestly, I think it arrived about 30 years ago, and now it's affordable, and now we can actually start utilizing it. And the other weird thing about this is you have old guys like me who are terrified of what the future is going to be. I thought is Clifton still here? I thought Clifton Taylor's talk today was really interesting. Mm-hmm. The aesthetic is changing about every 20 years in color and design and how we stage shows, everything that we put together. About every 20 years, there's a click. He was looking at that idea of super saturate color that became available to Gil Hemsley and to Tom Skelton, and then that fell out of fashion, and we went to the kind of no-color world of our lives, and then that fell out of fashion. And then we tried to embrace LED. I'm stealing a little of his thunder here. We tried to embrace LED, and it wasn't quite where we wanted it to be, and now that's happening. So I think every 10 or 15 years, there's a whole new set of rules that we get to play by.
And break.
I mean, I remember if I was looking at moving lights, I remember, something stupid like, Verilight. Someone offered them $20,000 for like a VL2 or a VL1, they wouldn't sell it because they thought it was worth more than that. And now you can get a pretty good moving light for $6,500 to $8,000. So everything is changing.
All right. Well, we're at the time of day where we are going to announce who the lucky person who actually grabbed the mug that is going to make you Lumen Brother or Sister of the Day. So I want people who hold their mugs up and look clearly at the Light Talk logo. All right, you got to squint your eyes. It's sort of like one of these. It's one of those 3D things, you know. You got to squint and hold it up and down, and you'll see Stan K jumping out. If you see Stan K jumping out of that image, you went. No, that's not what it is. I want everybody to close your eyes. I'm seriously, and then take your finger and run it along the top. And if it's not perfectly smooth, that means you've won. Who has that mug?
We all washed them, so they're all smooth, right?
Who has
The rim.
Who has the damaged rim?
The
cup?
rim. Jordan's got it. Jordan, you're going to be Lumen Brother of the Day. So before you leave today, make sure you come up here. We got a real one for you, so you don't cut your lips. Bad enough it's not dishwasher safe, but we don't want you to bleed to death when you drink it. Okay, so we'll give you a good one, but make sure you give us your contact info. We'll figure out what show you're going to be on. And you know what that means? All right, Steve, go for it. Go for it, Steve.
Okay, well, the rockin' sounds of the Luminoids tell you that once again, you've spent another morning listening to Light Talk. You can hear our show on Spotify, iTunes, Google, YouTube, Live Design Online, Amazon Prime Music, and just about every other podcast site out there, including Artistic Finance. Check out our website on lighttalk.org for future guests, and be sure to follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our podcast. That way you will not miss a second of Light Talk insanity.
No guarantee is offered regarding the accuracy of any statements or opinions made on this podcast. However,
If you do decide to litigate, the law firm of Flex, Flock, Flair, and Glare and their paralegal Snoot will defend us until our retirement funds are depleted.
Light Talk is written and produced by the Lumen Brothers and Sistah, coming to you from Long Beach, Las Vegas, normally the Bermuda Triangle with Ellen, and the Republic of Texas.
and be sure to join us next week when we chat about more useless things and explore the crazy shenanigans in our industry.
Light Talk, broadcasting questionable Lumen knowledge and humor around the world.
So we'll see you all next Saturday morning. Thanks to our great live audience out here at LDI 2021. Woo! Bye-bye from
Thank you,
Light Talk.
everybody.